But that's the whole tragic point, my friend.
It's 100% organic, made with stolen cocoa from the jungle, seasoned with English, Spanish, and of course French. Oui, oui, mon chéri. Dígame que tú quieres, mi corazón. It will make you lose the weight in your waistline. I mean, look at me. I'm 225 pounds, 6 feet tall, with the body of a field Negro and the face of a well-articulate house slave, all mutated and money-back guaranteed, 30-day free trial. Oh, you can afford it? No problem. We accept all major credit card, child support, check, Section 8, and definitely a reparation, because I pick things up and I haul them, shake them down. This is the ultimate slim, fast acting, 10 acting. Yes, master. Oh, okay, boss. You sure is ugly. Negro what? Negro cat? Nekisa? Negro protein bar. Because I'm 100% organic.
Yo.
Poetry, my brother spoken word. Can I say that?
Yeah, for sure.
My age, Croilot. It's good. What's up, baby?
Love the name.
Everything good?
What's popping? You already know, man. Tu sabes.
Yo, okay.
Tranquilo de todo eso.
It's good to have you, brother.
Let's go.
It's good to have you.
I like this, man. I'm feeling this vibe out here, man. You heard?
Smooth.
We feeling you
right?
too.
Yeah.
Yo.
It's a field movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A Negro protein bar.
I was about to say that.
movement.
The T-shirt. Talk
You know what
about
I'm
it.
saying? Negro protein bar right now. You heard? So pretty much what it is, man. It's a poem that I actually started back in 2013. You know what I mean? And then it was to create an awareness about the word Negro. You know, because I studied history in college. Going to college, I studied history for about 6 years, because I actually started getting my master's in Caribbean studies as well. So my bachelor's was my undergrad was in Western civilization.
Ladies, a brother with a master's, give him a round of applause, please. Okay.
For sure.
Sleeping on us now.
Yeah, for sure. My master's, I ended up getting it actually in educational leadership. But so I wrote the piece. It was a piece to create awareness, because one thing I always understood was that history, the most important thing about history is that it should be taught through language. If you understand language and you understand the history of that language, then you will understand more about the history of that people, the history of that culture, the history of everything that surrounds that language. You know, and so the word Negro in itself, has a lot of history in it, and it's a word that goes all the way back to Egypt.
Okay.
You know, the word actually Negro is necro.
Okay.
All right. The word Negro is Niger, and the word necro actually is Greek. It stems out all the way from the Greeks going to Egypt, being the Greeks going to Egypt, being studying from the Egyptians, and thinking that the Egyptians were fascinated by death. The word necro means death.
Okay.
And so they thought that they were fascinated by death, but what they don't understand is they not understand the culture and the spiritual essence of the Egyptians then, because the Egyptians, even to this day, not just the Egyptians, but the African culture itself celebrates ancestral worship. There's this idea of called ancestral worship, where they pay homage to the ancestors, the ancestors. And so the Greeks at that time thought that they were worshiping death in that sense. And so the word originated from that. From there from that word, from Negro, necro came Niger, and then from Niger came Negro, which actually was adopted by the Spanish and the Portuguese in the 1600s. And the word Negro by that time was pretty much a color.
Right.
It was to differentiate the Spaniards and the Portuguese.
Negro.
Exactly, negro, exactly. To differentiate the Africans that were coming in the New World, and they were called negro. And then from there it goes into what we know today in the American historical diaspora movement out of Negro, then we have the bastardized word that's called nigger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then it goes from there. But the word Negro in itself is not even English to begin with. You know, so this is why I was trying to what I was trying to explain to be, you know, in terms of the word Negro. So for me, I feel that our people need to understand that, because if you take out the word Negro, then you take out all the history behind it. If you wipe out the word Negro, you wipe out all the scholars behind it. You're talking about, you know, your Martin Luther Kings, who actually, you know, wrote papers and speeches and all that actually had the word Negro in their speeches. Right. You're talking about W.E.B. Du Bois. You're talking about Washington Carver. You're talking about the Negro spirituals. You're talking about the Negro blues. You know, so the word Negro at that time was very empowered to these brothers, to these scholars, to these musicians, because they understood that there was something behind it that was more powerful than them. And so that's why I, you know, when I created that actual poem, it was a satire poem, funny but serious at the same time.
Satire poem.
A satire poem.
Speak on it.
Satire is pretty much a genre in which you present a case in a comedy way, in a comical way, but at the same time it's straight up serious to your face, seriousness to your face. You know, so yeah, so for me, you know, people always see me as a poet, but I grew up doing so many different things. You know, growing up, I'm Haitian and Dominican. You know, I was actually born on the border. My mother was used to live on the border of Dominican Republic and Haiti, down in the southern part of Dominican Republic and Haiti. And my father was Dominican. He was a Dominican lieutenant who was supposed to be patrolling the borders, and then, you know, then he caught up with my mom. You know how they do. You know.
You already know.
Exactly. You know, these militant brothers out here, you know. But he was actually having an affair with my mom's, because he was married. Wow. My mom's was a widow. My mom's had me when she was 42. My father was 56 when they had me, you know, so I'm the only one that they both had that's Dominican and Haitian, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sort of pretty much what I usually call the bridge, you know.
But you embrace, like, you have that poem, I am Haitian, that's my shit, you know what I mean? Like when he get up, that's my shit, right? But that right there, that piece right there, I could tell that resonates, like you embrace both cultures, like you don't leave anyone like one more than the other.
Right.
Like I'm like that, not intentional. Like they be like, yo, what are you? Automatically I say Guatemalan, forgetting I'm half Honduran. Not forgetting, but it's too long to say. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what that is, though. You get me? Like you gotta. There's melanin. You know, melanin alone goes for like $300 a gram. Wow. Melanin. Look it up. It's like $300 a gram. So when you see, like, when I see, like, us walking, you get me? I look at, a lot of us, we're looking at our wealth wrong. Of course. You get what I'm saying? We thinking about it wrong. What we wear, what we spend money on, that doesn't make us wealthy when we already are.
But it's funny. It's funny you're mentioning melanin, because for me, what I did with the Negro is I try to represent it where everybody to me is considered black because of the melanin situation.
Black is no color.
You see what I'm saying?
It's the beginning.
And so that's where I stem with this information as well, where I'm telling people, like, you know, if you go into the scientific part of it, we're all black. It's just different black groups of black people that went to different parts of the world geographically, and based on the temperature and whether their melanin they actually lost melanin or they kept their melanin if they're living in a tropical area and so forth. So when you're looking at the, you know, in terms of the word Negro and all that, and I have this flavor right here, Pro Black Dark Cocoa.
Talk about that real quick. Your protein,
if you're looking at the Pro Black Dark Cocoa, it stems from the individuals in the 60s, you know, during the civil rights movement, and the brothers that was also the musicians and the talented musicians that was coming out with the, you know, they said, yo, we need a flag. You know, and we need a flag to represent us. So they came with the red, the black, and the green. And so this is where this comes from, this idea, this flavor. And so every flavor that I have represents something in the culture. You know what I mean? I have tough boy cookie dough.
So that's for the kids, right? Like,
you know what I'm saying? That's for the brothers in the high school who think they tough and rough and all that. And you know.
For those who don't know, like, we're talking about protein bars that he he's coming out with, right? So
the Negro Protein Bar. So what I'm looking at launching actually 2 of the flavors out of the 11 flavors I have.
He has 11 flavors.
Yeah. The 2 flavors I'm trying to launch right now next year is the Sabroso Picante, which is spicy guava. It's made out of spicy guava, and the Afro Butter Pecan. You know what I'm saying? The Afro Butter Pecan. You know, a lot of brothers and sisters.
That.
You know?
How you pronounce it again?
That Sabroso Picante.
Yeah,
oh, you just want that shit because it sounds good. It's because it sounds good. That's what you want that.
Sabroso Picante. You know?
Yeah.
Say that one time.
Say
That's
it.
so picante.
Yeah, you're not ready for that. So
Now, what's the next flavor?
Yeah, you know, we have other flavors too, man. I even have one that, you know, I dedicated to the white brothers out here, you know, who's actually backing us up.
Right.
You know, because a lot of people don't realize, you know, a lot of talented, like for example, Langston Hughes was backed up because of white folks that had money that was able to back him up to put his artwork out. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of white folks understood the struggle, not understanding to the way that we understand, but understood that they had to, because of their situation and how they presented themselves, they had to take that money and say, you know what, they need to represent, you know. And so I have Team Vanilla, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the flavors, Team Vanilla. You know what I'm saying?
Chocolate vanilla.
You know, I'm sure you're gonna get some light-skinned brothers who'll be like, yo, I'm done with the Team Vanilla.
Yeah, you already know.
You know, then I'll be like, nah, I'm pro-black. You know what I'm saying?
So the protein bar is something you could take like after like a workout or some shit, like energy, so forth and so on.
Of course, after you work out, before you work out, you know what I'm saying?
Meal supplement.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
all natural.
All natural.
So when will this be out? When will it
the bar itself, the 2 bars I'm looking at to launch is next year. I'm trying to launch those two bars next year.
Okay.
But one of the things we want to do is actually throw out a Kickstarter. I want to also throw out a website to actually sell T-shirts and products. Pretty much mostly T-shirts to show the different flavors and stuff that we have. To take all that money and actually launch the two flavors next year, and let the listener know is that we have a video coming out soon, and the video I just gave you a little snippet of it earlier from the actual poem. The video is called the Negro Protein Bar, and it's a surprise pretty much. The video is a very big surprise. Okay, it's gonna be based and the whole scene is gonna be based at an auction block scene. That's all I gotta say about it.
Tell the folks how they can see your videos.
Right now, you can get me at Instagram at Negro Protein. Instagram Negro Protein. You can go. You can email me negroprotein@gmail. You know, and we're gonna be when we launch the T-shirt, it's gonna be negroprotein.com, and we're taking it from there. You know what I'm saying?
So what drives you? What drives you to do this?
His protein. You know, like.
Like, look at his guns. My man in the gym hard, like hard body. What, like I said, what drives me is the actual word itself. And I feel like the word has so much behind it. There's so much love behind it, as much as there's so much hatred behind it. There's so much history behind it. And so I feel like, and the other thing too is that the reason why I chose the word Negro is to put the actual crisis, the actual problem right in your face so you can actually talk about it.
Brother Croilot, man, listen, thank you for coming.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Like, definitely dope interview, man. Dope time, the conversation was there. Again, can you please just let them know where they can find you?
Of course, man. Definitely on IG. You can get me on IG, Negro Protein, or even my actual artist name is Croilot, Croilot. Catch me out on Facebook. You know, what's the other one? Twitter.
You have a Twitter?
Snapchat. Yeah, all that.
You have a Snapchat?
But it's Negro Protein.
All that.
I'm all about that Negro.
All right.
You know?
So listen up, y'all. Thank you once again for tuning in. Dear Brother Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We got Raquel, we got Matthew Noah, we got myself, and then Melendez. Croilot, thank you for coming in. We have my boy, my ace, Giovanni Ramirez, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Peace.
Peace out. Till next time.
Get that Negro Protein bar, you heard?
Yeah, I mean.
Dear brother.